when I was running around Mount Vernon, New York, Master Victory, and the guards was everywhere, the earth was everywhere, you couldn't do nothing, literally, without running into a guard of earth. But seeing the way that they was acting at that time, and my cousin was guard. He's the first person to ever give me lessons. Okay, Daquan. But looking at how they was dealing with each other, I wasn't hearing no education. I wasn't hearing nobody building. I was seeing niggas getting beat the fuck up. That's not attractive to me. Like I said, my cousin gave me lessons, God, but he didn't tell me what they were. He didn't tell me what to do with them.
He didn't walk you through it.
He didn't walk me through it. So I'm just thinking like, this ain't nothing. This ain't nothing big. You see what I mean? And me and him actually built upon that a few weeks ago. And he told me something. He said, listen, he said, you know what? You have taken this side so further than I even understood or even thought about when I was studying. He said, most of the things he said, we were studying just to be cool, just to be fly. We only really went up to our 1 to 10, and we would quote that over and over, and we was more of a crew than other guards in the earth. And I was like, you know, and I'm sitting there and I'm doing the announcements because this is history. This is his Quran. And when I'm looking back at that point in time, I'm like, you're right, because I didn't learn anything. Nobody was teaching me nothing. You know what I mean? But the point was that, and the greatest thing was that I'm thankful for him for them times.
Yeah, because he played his part.
God, he gave me them lessons. I kept them lessons, God. He gave me them lessons when I was 10. I kept them lessons till I was 16. I had left New York, living in Delaware, and that's the point in time when I was like, you know what? I want to know who God is.
So that's when you started really walking through it, at 16.
I pulled them lessons out and I started going through them.
So from 10 to 16, you had them and wasn't really doing nothing with them?
No. You know what I mean? But you know what it was? When I moved out of Mount Vernon, New York, and I moved to Delaware, you know how you sort what you're gonna take with you and what you're gonna throw out? I looked at them lessons, I said, there's something about these. I'm taking these with me. And when I started studying, those were the first things I pulled out. And see, for me, I want the knowledge, the wisdom, and understanding. So when I got the lessons, I'm like, wait a minute, but what does that mean? The knowledge degree said that knowledge is the supreme being black man. What does that mean? How does knowledge the black man?
Okay, so you had the
I'm a black
mathematics.
man, but how am I knowledge? Like,
so you had the mathematics. The definitions were given.
They were more the 1 to 10 student enrollment. 1 to 10, little alphabets, little jewels. It was all mixed up in there. But it was food from thought.
Right.
It was enough to where that once I started going through that, and you know, I didn't know anything about the fact that I had to quote it.
So because by this time you're not even dealing with an educator.
No, God, I'm in Delaware.
In Delaware.
Ain't nobody got no knowledge in Delaware at this point in time, as far as I know. Plus, I'm young. I'm going to high school. Ain't nobody in Newark High School talking nothing about the black man God and no mathematics and nothing. Okay, I'm surrounded by 85. But I'm staying up 10 o'clock at night with the card table and the metal chairs. And I got these lessons I got from my cousin. I got the Bible. I got the Quran. I got whatever book I'm studying. Now, I went from, I was studying everything from like socialism, Islam, Hinduism, Africa, Kemet, Babylonia, Sumeria, Saudi Arabia. I mean, I'm studying everything that I can think of and all the stuff that I'm interested in. So I'm studying metaphysics, I'm studying biology. And you know, what I used to do was 2 hours on each one every night. You know what I'm saying? Then I was coming up here to New York I come up here to New York. My man Kevin Cav is Khalik. I'm like, what? My man Reno is Abu. I'm like, what? I'm like, no.
So now everybody around getting
I'm
out.
like, something's going on. And then, yo, what really, really, really sealed it for me, I'm in Delaware. I go to a concert. Now, I don't even know I'm going to the concert or whatever. I just think me and my boys is going out, you know, to have fun. We're going to this club. I walk in there, you know, everybody's doing their thing or whatever. The lights start to dim. I'm like, what's going on? Rakim walks on stage. I said, oh, shit. Now, listen, everybody else around me, they talking and they doing all kind of stuff. Music started playing. The guard started emceeing. All that talking stopped. Everybody turned around and was focused on the stage. And I'm thinking in my mind, there's something going on in New York and I'm missing it.
And what year was this?
God, this had to be like 86, 87.
And you coming from, this is when you had already been in Delaware.
Yeah. I'm like, there's something going on in New York and I'm missing it. And I said, like I was going back and forth, and more and more of my boys is God body. And I'm like, so I'm just coming back up. I'm asking Khalik, like I know, like you gotta understand, at this point in time, I ran with a crew of 30 or 40 brothers. We were together every weekend. But my man Khalik, me and him had a real good relationship, so I used to ask the God all kind of questions. And the thing was, is he used to answer my questions. You see what I'm saying? He didn't send me off on some mystery or doing this because, let me tell you, when I was in Delaware and in other places, I asked ministers these same questions. And they would tell me, believe in a mystery.
Right.
It's the spirit of God. Now, that ain't enough. You ain't telling me nothing. You telling me the same thing I've heard my whole life. Then I'm asking the Masons, and they won't reveal what they know. So I'm like, you're useless to me too. But my man that looked just like me, I grew up with him. I know his moms. I know his sisters. I know his family. He's giving me answers to my questions. So why would I ever mess with you? When the answers are being made plain and clear right in front of me. And then I will go back to Delaware, and I get me a book on whatever we talked about. Books. Because I had a library at one time. Okay? I look up all of these different things, G. Because I really wanted to know. Then I come back to New York and I start building with Khalik and telling him certain things. And me and him would start building. God, I did that for like a month. And then after that, I was like, you know what? Khalik, I need lessons. He's like, where, God? He's like, but you in Delaware. I said, I don't care. I need lessons. He said, all right. He said, because you my man, I'm going to look out for you. He gave me all 120.
He gave you the whole one?
The whole 120 degrees, including history. The history, the bomb, greatest story never told. And
that's Beloved, right? Beloved wrote that.
I'm not sure who wrote it, though. Okay. But I love that story. Okay, that history of our nation. That I gave every student that I ever had the bomb.
So Khalik, he was the one who began to kind of educating you.
Khalik, me and Khalik is like this right now. Khalik, the God, live in Raleigh, North Carolina. But see, this is the thing, God, is that, like I said, I lived in Delaware. He lived up here. I didn't have somebody to walk the land with me every day. For the first few months, I did nothing but study. I didn't quote no lessons to nobody. I wasn't teaching nobody nothing. Well, let me take that back. I was teaching only the 3 brothers that I was around. Because those are the only ones that I could really converse with. And especially my man Jason in Delaware. Okay? I gave Jay lessons. Okay?
Did he retain him?
He retained him, but Jason became a Muslim.
He became a Muslim. Of the Nation of Islam?
No. Sunni.
A Sunni Muslim. So he went back to the mystery God.
But the thing was, he still dealt with Islam. Okay? So that was his choice. But the other two brothers, they ain't do nothing.
They ain't do nothing with it.
They ain't do nothing with it. Okay? So the point is this, is that I didn't know that much, so I only could teach them what I know. During this time, I'm just studying my mathematics. I'm going in and out of my mathematics and with my books and dealing with a lot of sciences and studying the Bible and the Quran and all of that, to where, like, I used to meet brothers who knew 120 degrees, but I was more swifter than them. Why? Because I knew my math. I don't care if you know 120 degrees. Mathematics is the key.
So
you know what I
brothers
mean?
was like basically all into the degrees, but they wasn't really rooted in the mathematics
No,
of it.
because you know what for me, God it was always this. Mathematics allows you to break down everything. So brothers used to quote degrees, give you the understanding of their degrees. I would take the words or a few words out of their degrees and break that down and how it applied to what they dealing with. Most brothers will quote a degree but never deal with the number that degree was. So I used to build on the number and how it related to that degree. I wasn't on those degrees. But you can't fault me for my understanding. And if my understanding is right and exact, you can't tell me nothing. So brothers just be like, yo, how long you at now? I'd be like, yo, I just started learning. I'm a newborn. They'd be like, what? I'd be like, yeah, God. But this is how that's how my mind works. Because like I said, Khalik is in New York. I'm in Delaware. This is how my mind works. And I used to look at it because I used to always look at a pizza pie, God. This is my slice. This is a slice I'm going to get from my enlightener. This is a slice I'm going to build from other brothers and sisters. But what about the other slices? I'm going to get them slices too. So I used to find different ways to build and look up words, deal with numbers, how did this apply to history, how this applied to the pyramid, how this applied to this, how this applied to masonry. You see what I mean? I'm taking my mathematics throughout the whole 360. I'm making sure my mathematics is universal. So that when I speak to different people, I always can have a conversation with them. You know what I'm saying? Because the Muslims were heavy in Delaware.
If Mecca did this.